Hey there everyone, this is Michael Dougal, and you're going to learn about some of the best and worst nootropics for anxiety, because unfortunately a lot of the nootropics out there that can actually help with productivity and energy levels do as a result actually increase levels of anxiety. So hopefully with this information you can better decide which nootropics are a good fit for your stack, and you also may realize some of the nootropics that you're taking that are making you more anxious than you typically are. I don't consider myself to be a very anxious person, but even some of these nootropics I have to really be careful about when I use them and for what purpose I'm using them for. So first we're going to go over 4 nootropics that may help with anxiety, and then we're going to cover 4 nootropics that may actually increase levels of anxiety, meaning decrease your overall well-being. And the first nootropic that may help decrease levels of anxiety would be ashwagandha. I think this is the one that most people are pretty familiar with. Ashwagandha is known as the king of herbs. It's an adaptogen, meaning it's a supplement that can help you to better tolerate stress and have a better relationship with stress. And I've noticed that with ashwagandha, over other benefits like potentially increasing levels of testosterone or increasing your thyroid function, it really does help you relax, helps you to maintain like a level of peacefulness. But ashwagandha also has a bad reputation for demotivating people, making them feel fatigued, making them feel somewhat lethargic or even apathetic, like not really caring about anything. I've experienced some of the benefits with ashwagandha and some of the downsides with ashwagandha, and I've learned that I do prefer using ashwagandha and the pros do outweigh the cons. However, I would have to use less ashwagandha than typically, or I would have to use ashwagandha with something else that may motivate me. I've talked more about different nootropics that can help you with your levels of motivation in this video over here. Don't expect miracles with ashwagandha with anxiety. Although it is effective, it doesn't work instantly, and for most individuals they would need to take it for at least like 3 to 5 days for them to start seeing the benefits. It has a very long half-life, so you're better off separating your dosages apart, something like using it once in the morning and then once again in the evening. And a common serving size would be 300 to 500 milligrams of one of the extracts, and that's a serving size which is well tolerable for most people. The second nootropic that can decrease levels of anxiety is L-theanine, and I would choose this as probably the most effective of the bunch, considering that L-theanine works pretty quickly, whereas with ashwagandha you need to take it for at least a few days in most cases in order for you to see some sort of benefit with. With L-theanine, it's different. It's kind of like, caffeine. You ingest caffeine to feel something and you feel something and the next day it's gone. That's how L-theanine feels for most of us. We ingest it expecting it to do something and expecting it to not really affect us the following day. So it's interesting in that it's a unique nootropic which you can pretty much have in your back pocket for when you need it. It's for when you want to decrease levels of anxiety. Like one of the common ways in which people would use L-theanine is actually along with caffeine, because caffeine is known to overstimulate you, mess with your judgment, maybe make you somewhat anxious. But when individuals use caffeine along with L-theanine, they feel a lot better. So in this case, I wouldn't recommend mixing caffeine with L-theanine if your goal is to reduce levels of anxiety. I would more so say that would be better when it comes to productivity, but in this case we're talking about decreasing levels of anxiety. And something great about L-theanine is that it is naturally occurring. This is an amino acid that's found in green tea, although you'd have to drink somewhere between 5 to 8 cups of green tea in order for you to get the same benefit you would get from having one serving of the L-theanine nootropic. A common serving size of L-theanine is 200 milligrams. I actually prefer smaller quantities like 50 milligrams to 100 milligrams, and one of the reasons for that is because 200 milligrams is pretty strong. You should in most cases feel something happening, and that doesn't matter whether you take it in a fasted state or a fed state. One of the things I dislike though about L-theanine is the fact that the effects are very inconsistent. So sometimes I'll use L-theanine, I'll feel good, I'm in a better mood, my anxiety levels are lower, but sometimes I could use L-theanine and feel somewhat of a lack of direction with whatever I want to do, and then I'm just waiting for the L-theanine to get out of my system. So I like the fact that you can notice L-theanine working, but I don't always like what it does for me. The third nootropic that can decrease levels of anxiety is lion's mane mushroom. Now this is a different supplement in the sense of it's a mushroom. It's not your typical herb or amino acid, but it's very effective when it comes to anxiety. And I actually came across lion's mane mushroom because I was looking for a nootropic supplement that would give me a bit of a mental edge, make me more creative, make me able to work smarter. And that was the benefit it was able to provide me. And at the same time, I noticed that I was in a better mood, specifically because I felt less attached to everything. I wouldn't be thinking about what is the worst case scenario of doing this. I wouldn't worry about interactions or things not going my way. More so, I had like a freer energy about me because I was just more present and I wasn't as attached to making everybody happy, for example, or something in my business going as planned. It was okay if it didn't, because failure is feedback at the end of the day. So I like that lion's mane kind of neatly shifts your perspective and makes you see the brighter side of things. And I probably found this the most effective thing for anxiety overall, because with L-theanine, for example, it would be like a temporary fix, but lion's mane, it had like a nice tweak to my perspective that as a result made me feel less anxious of a person. I'm very sensitive to nootropics, keep that in mind, so I can't say everybody has reported the same feelings using lion's mane, although there's quite a number of anecdotes you can find online about people having positive results using lion's mane mushroom. And my favorite form of lion's mane would be the 8-to-1 duo extract. Although prior to using the 8-to-1, I've used a lot of different forms of lion's mane, whether it was the 8-to-1 extract or the 1-to-1 extract, and I've always had positive results with them. And the fourth nootropic for helping with anxiety levels is phenibut. Now, I'm not a fan of it because phenibut is known to be horribly addictive, but there is no denying the fact that for many individuals, it works when other nootropic supplements don't. And phenibut is something which is interesting because it's kind of stimulatory at the same time. It helps with anxiety levels. You're in a better mood, you're less nervous, you're more likely to interact with people. I think especially when it comes to social anxiety, phenibut is a very powerful substance. Although I feel it's pretty misunderstood, and something neat is that for a lot of people, it actually helps them with their sleep quality as well, in the sense that they would use phenibut to decrease their anxiety levels, and as a result, they actually had better sleep. It's kind of like a nice wind down nootropic, though at the same time, it does make you alert. As a matter of fact, I remember one of the first times using phenibut, my heart rate was actually higher than typically, and I did not see that coming because for most of these supplements, they're kind of like wind down nootropics that don't make you feel like too energized, more so they do the opposite. So do your research when it comes to phenibut. I've talked more about the downsides and side effects in this video over here because I don't necessarily feel it's healthy, especially when you're using a strong supplement like this to decrease levels of anxiety versus using natural practices like meditation, like exercise. Like the other nootropics, they're subtle, they have other benefits, whereas with phenibut, it's kind of like you're ingesting something knowing that you shouldn't be, and then afterwards there's a big chance that you may regret using phenibut in the first place. So now we'll cover some of the nootropics that may actually increase anxiety levels, and I'm still using quite a few of them, and you're going to learn the reasons why. And the very first one would be L-Tyrosine. L-Tyrosine, similar to L-theanine, is an amino acid, and when you use this amino acid specifically in a fasted state, it can provide tremendous benefits such as increased energy levels, better resilience, faster learning and processing speed, better energy at the gym, whether that's weightlifting or cardiovascular performance, and that's why L-Tyrosine is so commonly found in pre-workout supplements. But one of the things that L-Tyrosine does is increased levels of anxiety, and this is the reason why I pretty much only use L-Tyrosine prior to working out. Otherwise, I notice that I ingest it, and not only am I anxious, but I'm feeling irritable. I sometimes get angry, and I really don't consider myself like an angry or short-tempered person, but that's the way L-Tyrosine can really make you feel. So you really want to evaluate, like, why am I using L-Tyrosine, and do I need it for this specific task? Because if my task involves anything to do with interacting with others, I would not use L-Tyrosine because of the social anxiety that comes along with it, the irritability, and the increased anger. The second nootropic that can increase levels of anxiety is rhodiola rosea, and it's similar to ashwagandha, but with rhodiola rosea, it's somewhat energizing, it's somewhat stimulatory, and with that stimulation and that extra level of focus, it often does come with it a little bit of anxiety. With this one, it's subtle, not as noticeable as L-Tyrosine, but rhodiola rosea is becoming increasingly popular, and I'm surprised that all the research out there points out some of the benefits of rhodiola rosea, but doesn't mention some of the fact that individuals often use rhodiola rosea and feel a little bit of anxiety along with it. The third nootropic that can increase levels of anxiety would be caffeine, and I would say anything similar to caffeine, such as like theacrine or dynamine or yohimbine, for example. These are all stimulants. They are going to provide you with energy, but there's also the downside in the fact that they will result in higher levels of anxiety, not only after you take the supplement, but also when you feel the energy crash afterwards. Like for me, when I ingest caffeine, I feel a little bit of anxiety at the beginning, but it's tolerable. But then, boy, when I feel that caffeine crash with the high levels of anxiety and the energy slump that I'm in, it really sets me up to be unproductive and feeling awful. And I've generally found like the stronger the stimulant it is, the worse the anxiety is as a result, especially when you experience that crash. Yohimbine probably being the worst of the bunch because yohimbine doesn't even energize you that much. It just makes you in a much better mood and giving you that euphoria, and then afterwards you're having that negative crash with the anxiety. And the fourth nootropic that may increase levels of anxiety would be any of the racetams. So piracetam, aniracetam, oxiracetam, those three are very popular. As well, we'll add to this mix Noopep because it's somewhat similar. And with these nootropics, what they're really good at is helping you with focus, helping you with productivity, also sleep and your energy levels. I find that when I use the racetams, I have this amazing tunnel vision and I'm more disciplined. I have better willpower. I'm much better able to avoid distractions, but I have found as a result of using the racetams, I as well feel a bit of anxiety come about. I personally don't notice the anxiety as bad as other individuals do, though I have found that when I take time off of the racetams or I take time off of Noopep, I'm not as anxious of a person. I'm a bit more easygoing, but that could be costing me my productivity productivity at the same time. So you're just going to have to decide if the pros outweigh the cons with specific nootropics. Some other great nootropics that may decrease levels of anxiety would be GABA. Lemon balm extract is great. Specific forms of ashwagandha can really like amplify the whole ashwagandha experience, like Shodan, which I really enjoy. There's Bacopa monnieri, which not only helps with anxiety levels, but also can improve memory and improve learning. And I've talked more about different nootropics on my channel, so be sure to subscribe to see more videos just like this one, and share your thoughts in the comment section below. What nootropics have helped you most with respect to anxiety? I'd love to see your feedback. If you want to chat with me one-on-one, you can message me on Patreon, and be sure to visit our Discord server. We have a 24/7 chat room. We're having a whole lot of fun. I thank you for your support and look forward to seeing you next time.